Today, we're going to look into the 20 perfect underrated games that deserve your time and attention. These hidden video games are 10 out of 10 experiences that somehow didn't get the spotlight they deserve. 20. Batman, the Telltale series. First up, let's talk about Batman. The Telltale series, a game that proves you don't need high-octane action to deliver an unforgettable Batman experience. This is about story, choices, and consequences. The game takes you deep into Bruce Wayne's life, making you question his morals and decisions. Every choice, big or small, shapes the narrative, turning this into one of the most personal Batman stories ever told. Will you save Harvey Dent at the cost of your friendship? Will you expose your identity to save Gotham? The game makes you the decision-maker. The comic book-inspired visuals and episodic format make it feel like you're binge-watching a premium Batman series, but here's the twist. You are in control. If you're someone who loves storytelling, tough moral decisions, and unraveling Gotham's mysteries, this game is a hidden gem worth exploring. 19. Styx, Shards of Darkness. Next on the list is Styx, Shards of Darkness. Now, this game doesn't put you in the shoes of a dashing hero or a skilled assassin. It makes you a goblin. Yes, a snarky, trash-talking goblin who's as good at stealing treasures as he is at insulting enemies. This stealth game is all about strategy and patience. The levels are designed like intricate puzzles, filled with guards, traps, and secrets to uncover. You'll need to plan your moves carefully. One wrong step, and it's game over. But don't worry. Styx has plenty of tricks up his sleeve, like cloning himself or using environmental hazards to take out enemies. What sets this game apart is its humor. Styx breaks the fourth wall, cracks jokes, and keeps things light even in the darkest moments. It's a refreshing twist on the stealth genre that fans of games like Dishonored or Thief will absolutely love. 18. The Saboteur. Imagine a game where you're a resistance fighter in Nazi-occupied Paris, sabotaging the enemy at every turn. That's exactly what the Saboteur delivers. A mix of open-world action, stealth, and pure adrenaline. What makes this game unique is its art style. At the start, the city is cloaked in black and white, symbolizing oppression. As you liberate areas and complete missions, color gradually returns, breathing life back into the world. It's a simple but incredibly effective way of showing progress. The gameplay is a mix of parkour, gunfights, and sabotage missions. You'll be blowing up enemy fuel depots, hijacking vehicles, and sneaking through heavily guarded areas. And let's not forget the charm of Sean Devlin, the Irish protagonist who's as quick with a one-liner as he is with a punch. While the Saboteur didn't get the attention it deserved back in the day, it's a game that still holds up, and its mix of style, substance, and storytelling makes it a must-play. 17. Just Cause 2. Ever wanted to cause absolute chaos just because you can? Enter Just Cause 2, a game where the explosions are as big as the world itself. Set on the sprawling island of Panau, this open-world action game gives you a grappling hook, a parachute, and an endless supply of explosives. Your mission? Take down a corrupt regime while blowing up anything and everything in your path. But it's not just the explosions that make this game fun, it's the creativity. You can tether enemies to vehicles, hijack helicopters mid-flight, and even surf on cars as they hurtle off cliffs. The world is your playground, and the only limit is your imagination. If you're someone who loves open-world chaos and over-the-top action, Just Cause 2 is the perfect game to scratch that itch. 16. Nobody Wants to Die. Here's a title that's as intriguing as it is underrated. Nobody Wants to Die. This indie gem combines psychological storytelling with unique gameplay mechanics that challenge your sense of morality. Set in a dystopian world, the game places you in situations where survival often comes at the expense of others. Do you take the easy way out and let someone else suffer? Or do you risk your own safety to do what's right? These choices are emotionally taxing, and the game isn't afraid to confront you with the consequences. The minimalist art style and haunting soundtrack amplify the tension, making every decision feel like a matter of life and death. It's a short but impactful experience that sticks with you long after the credits roll. If you're looking for a game that makes you think, this one's a no-brainer. 15. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. Bringing back the classic Prince of Persia. Vibe? The Lost Crown is a modern take on the legendary franchise. This game perfectly balances nostalgia with fresh gameplay mechanics. You play as a skilled warrior, navigating deadly traps, solving intricate puzzles, and engaging in fast-paced combat with supernatural enemies. What stands out is the time manipulation ability. Whether rewinding time to undo mistakes or slowing it down to outsmart your enemies, this mechanic keeps the gameplay dynamic and engaging. The world design is stunning, blending Persian mythology with a modern artistic twist. Each level feels like a living puzzle, demanding precision, timing, and creativity. Fans of the original series will love the homage to classic elements while enjoying the polished, fluid mechanics. It's a perfect comeback for the Prince of Persia series and a must-play for both old fans and newcomers alike. 14. Enslaved. Odyssey to the West. Here's a gem that got overshadowed by bigger titles but deserves its place in gaming history. Enslaved. Odyssey to the West. Set in a post-apocalyptic world overrun by hostile machines, the game reimagines the ancient Chinese novel Journey to the West. You play as Monkey, a rugged survivor forced to team up with a tech-savvy girl named Trip to navigate this dangerous world. What makes this game shine is its storytelling. The dynamic between Monkey and Trip evolves beautifully throughout the journey. The motion capture work is top-notch, making every expression and interaction feel incredibly lifelike. And then there's the world. Lush, overgrown ruins filled with danger and beauty in equal measure. The combat combines brutal melee attacks with strategic use of gadgets, keeping things fresh. If you're a fan of story-driven games with a mix of action and emotion, this is an adventure you shouldn't miss. 13th. Ghost of a Tale. Ever dreamed of playing as a mouse in a world of towering dangers? Ghost of a Tale takes that premise and turns it into a charming and heartfelt adventure. You play as Tilo, a barred mouse navigating a medieval world filled with rats, spiders, and other creatures that dwarf him. The game is more about stealth and exploration than combat. You'll sneak past guards, disguise yourself, and solve puzzles to uncover the mysteries of the world. The art style is stunning, with every detail carefully crafted to bring this miniature world to life. But what really stands out is the emotional depth. Tilo's journey is one of courage, love, and survival, making it easy to root for this tiny hero. If you're looking for a game that feels like a mix of Redwall and The Legend of Zelda, Ghost of a Tale is an underrated masterpiece you need to try. 12th. State of Mind. Next up is State of Mind, a futuristic thriller that dives deep into the concepts of identity and reality. Set in Berlin in 2048, the game explores a world where humanity is on the brink of merging with AI. You play as Richard, a journalist trying to unravel a conspiracy while dealing with his own fractured mind. The story is packed with twists, keeping you guessing until the very end. The low-poly art style might seem simple at first, but it complements the game's futuristic tone beautifully. The gameplay focuses on exploration and decision-making, with a narrative that challenges your perception of technology and ethics. If you're a fan of games that make you think, State of Mind offers a thought-provoking experience that's as intriguing as it is underrated. 11. Returnal. Moving on to Returnal, a game that blends sci-fi, horror, and roguelike elements into one unforgettable experience. You play as Celine, an astronaut stranded on an alien planet caught in a never-ending time loop. Every time you die, the world changes, forcing you to adapt and learn from your mistakes. The gameplay is fast-paced and punishing, with enemies that test your reflexes and strategies. What makes this game stand out is its psychological storytelling. Celine's journey isn't just about surviving, it's about uncovering her past and the mysteries of the planet. The visuals and sound design are breathtaking, immersing you in the eerie, otherworldly atmosphere. While Returnal is challenging, it's also deeply rewarding. It's a game that pushes you to your limits but keeps you coming back for more. 10. Hitman, Absolution. Let's talk about Hitman, Absolution, a game that sometimes gets overlooked in the Hitman franchise but deserves more love. You play as Agent 47, a master assassin navigating a story-driven campaign filled with targets, disguises, and creative ways to take down enemies. What sets this game apart is its cinematic approach. The story dives deep into 47's personal struggles, giving the game an emotional weight that's rare in the series. The levels are more linear compared to other Hitman games, but they're packed with opportunities for creativity. Whether you're using a sniper rifle, poisoning a drink, or staging an accident, The satisfaction of executing a perfect plan is unmatched. If you've only played the newer Hitman games, don't sleep on Absolution. It's a polished, thrilling experience that showcases a different side of the franchise. 9. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. When it comes to Assassin's Creed, most people talk about Black Flag or Ezio's trilogy, but Assassin's Creed Syndicate? Criminally underrated. Set in Victorian-era London, this game is a breath of fresh air in the series. You play as Jacob and Evie Fry, twin assassins with contrasting personalities, navigating the Industrial Revolution and fighting against the oppressive Templars. What makes this game unique is its focus on teamwork between the siblings. Evie is stealthy and tactical, while Jacob is more of a brawler. Switching between the two lets you experience different playstyles and keeps the gameplay fresh. And let's not forget London itself. The city feels alive, from the smog-covered rooftops to bustling streets filled with carriages. You'll fight rival gangs, liberate neighborhoods, and even meet historical figures like Charles Dickens and Alexander Graham Bell. Though it doesn't get as much love as other entries, Syndicate nails the balance between historical storytelling and fun, fast-paced action. If you haven't explored its streets yet, now's the time to dust off your hidden blade. 8. Mafia 2. Next on the list is Mafia 2, a game that's less about open-world chaos and more about telling a captivating, character-driven story. Set in the 1940s and 50s, you follow Vito Scaletta, a young man trying to rise through the ranks of the mob. What makes this game special isn't just the gunfights or heists, it's the emotional depth. Vito isn't some generic tough guy. He's a flawed, relatable character trying to make a better life for himself. The world of Empire Bay is gorgeously designed, capturing the post-war era with stunning detail. From classic cars to swing music on the radio, the atmosphere immerses you completely. And while the world isn't packed with side quests like modern open-world games, every mission feels purposeful, driving the narrative forward. Mafia 2 is a perfect example of a game that prioritizes quality over quantity. It's cinematic, emotional, and criminally underrated. If you're a fan of games that make you care about the characters, this one's for you. 7. Murdered Sole Suspect. Murdered Sole Suspect isn't just a game. It's a supernatural whodunit that flips the detective genre on its head. You play as Ronan O'Connor, a detective who's murdered in the opening scene and becomes a ghost. Your goal? Solve your own murder. The premise alone is enough to hook you, but the game goes further with its eerie atmosphere and clever mechanics. As a ghost, you can't interact with the physical world directly, but you can possess people, read their minds, and influence their actions to gather clues. The town of Salem is filled with dark secrets, and unraveling them feels both thrilling and unsettling. While the combat is minimal, the focus on exploration and puzzle solving keeps you engaged. And the story? It's a slow burn with a satisfying payoff. If you're looking for a game that's different from your usual action-packed fare, Murdered Sole Suspect offers a unique, haunting experience that deserves more recognition. 6. Mad Max. Post-apocalyptic chaos. Check. Brutal car combat? Double check. Mad Max is a game that takes the gritty, over-the-top world of the films and turns it into an unforgettable experience. You play as Max, a lone survivor in a desolate wasteland filled with violent gangs, dangerous terrain, and scarce resources. The game perfectly captures the essence of the Mad Max universe, with its harsh landscapes and desperate fights for survival. The highlight here is the vehicular combat. Customizing your car, the magnum opus, and using it to ram, shoot, and obliterate enemy vehicles never gets old. But it's not all about cars. The hand-to-hand combat is visceral and satisfying, taking cues from the Batman, Arkham series. What's more, the world is surprisingly beautiful in its desolation. Sandstorms, rusted ruins, and fiery skies make every moment feel cinematic. While it didn't get the recognition it deserved at launch, Mad Max is a hidden gem for anyone who loves open-world games with a gritty edge. If you missed it, now's the time to dive in. 5. Quantum Break. Part a video game, part live-action show, Quantum Break is one of the most ambitious and underrated titles of its time. You play as Jack Joyce, who gains time manipulation powers after a failed experiment. These abilities aren't just for combat, they're central to the game's storytelling. You'll freeze time to outmaneuver enemies, rewind it to solve puzzles, and even unleash devastating time blasts. The game's story is a gripping mix of science fiction and suspense, exploring themes of fate and free will. Between gameplay segments, live-action episodes featuring the game's cast fill in the story, making it feel like a hybrid between a game and a TV series. The visuals are stunning, and the gameplay is as smooth as the time powers you wield. While the episodic format might not be for everyone, Quantum Break delivers a unique experience that blends storytelling and gameplay like few others. 4. Sleeping Dogs. If you've ever wanted to live out your fantasy of being an undercover cop in a gritty, crime-filled city, Sleeping Dogs is the game for you. Set in Hong Kong, you play as Wei Shen, an undercover cop infiltrating the Sun On Yi Triad. What makes Sleeping Dogs stand out is its perfect blend of intense action, emotional storytelling, and cultural authenticity. The game beautifully captures the bustling streets of Hong Kong, from neon-lit night markets to high-rise rooftops. Combat is a standout feature here. Inspired by martial arts, the hand-to-hand fighting system is fluid, brutal, and incredibly satisfying. Add in some chaotic gunfights and high-speed chases, and you've got a recipe for non-stop adrenaline. But it's not just about action. The story is full of moral dilemmas, exploring Wei's struggle to balance his loyalty to the police with his growing ties to the Triad. It's gripping and emotionally engaging, making you feel like you're truly living the double life of an undercover cop. Though it often gets overshadowed by bigger open-world titles, Sleeping Dogs is a hidden masterpiece that deserves way more recognition. Trust me, once you start playing, you won't want to put it down. 3. Silent Hill. 4. The Room. Here's one for the horror fans. Silent Hill 4. The Room is one of the most unique entries in the legendary horror franchise, and it's a game that doesn't get nearly enough love. The game starts with a simple yet terrifying premise. You're trapped in your own apartment. The only way out? A mysterious, creepy hole in the wall that takes you to different nightmarish locations. Sounds cozy, right? What sets Silent Hill 4 apart is its focus on psychological horror. The game constantly blurs the line between reality and nightmare, keeping you on edge the entire time. Even your safe haven, the apartment, becomes increasingly unsettling as the game progresses. The gameplay mixes exploration, puzzle solving, and combat. But it's the atmosphere that steals the show. The eerie sound design, haunting visuals, and relentless sense of dread make this a horror experience like no other. While it's often overlooked compared to other Silent Hill titles, The Room is a spine-chilling experience that every horror fan needs to try. Just be prepared to sleep with the lights on. 2. Vampyr. Dark, brooding, and full of tough choices, Vampyr is an underrated gem that combines RPG mechanics with a deeply emotional story. Set in London during the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918, you play as Jonathan Reed, a doctor who's been turned into a vampire. The twist? You're torn between your oath to save lives and your newfound thirst for blood. The gameplay is all about choices. Every NPC you meet has their own backstory, and deciding whether to kill them for power or spare them for your humanity is agonizing. The combat is intense, with a mix of melee and vampiric abilities, but the real highlight is the story. It's dark, emotional, and full of moral dilemmas. The setting is dripping with atmosphere, quite literally. The foggy streets, eerie lighting, and haunting soundtrack make London feel alive and undead. While it flew under the radar for many, Vampyr offers an experience that's equal parts gripping and heartbreaking. If you're looking for a game with emotional depth and tough choices, this one's for you. 1. The Evil Within 2. We're wrapping up this list with The Evil Within 2, a survival horror masterpiece that improves on its predecessor in every way. You step into the shoes of Sebastian Castellanos, a former detective who dives back into the nightmarish STEM world to save his daughter. The stakes are personal, the horrors are relentless, and the journey is unforgettable. Unlike the first game, The Evil Within 2 gives you more freedom with semi-open world areas to explore. But don't let that fool you. This is still a survival horror game at its core. You'll scavenge for resources, craft items, and make every bullet count as you face grotesque enemies and nerve-wracking boss battles. The storytelling is top-notch, blending psychological horror with emotional weight. Sebastian's journey isn't just about survival, it's about redemption, making every moment feel meaningful. Visually, the game is stunning in its terror. The environments range from eerie suburban streets to surreal, mind-bending landscapes that'll keep you on edge. If you're a fan of horror games, The Evil Within 2 is an absolute must-play. It's terrifying, emotional, and one of the best survival horror experiences out there. And there you have it. 20 underrated games that are absolute gems waiting to be played. From gritty open-world adventures to spine-chilling horror, this list proves that sometimes the best experiences fly under the radar. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button of Games Mania, because we've got even more gaming goodness coming your way. And if you want to know the highest-rated games of all the time, check out our video. You'll find the link in the description. Thanks for watching.